Alright, guys, welcome back to another episode of Bell Schedule Podcast. So, yes, I have come up with a name for the podcast, and I decided to go with Bell Schedule mainly because, I start off with the bell sound and I end off with the bell sound. So, I decided that would be a nice little shtick, I guess. So, I decided to name it Bell Schedule, and it kind of relates to like me being in high school, so I decided to name it that, and hopefully I can stick with it. I might change it later on, but for right now, Bell Schedule seems like the thing to go. So I finally found a topic for today. So yesterday I was just kind of going on an introductory thing, but today I have a theme. So we're going to be talking about movies. Let me take a water. Oh, yes. Also, I brought my water, too, so I didn't forget it this time. Refreshing. Stay hydrated. Okay. Anyways, we are going to talk about movies today. So, I don't know if you guys know this, or if you know me in person, you probably know that my favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future. And here's a little fun fact. But they actually, they show Back to the Future to movie student, I don't even know how you would call it, but like theater in college, because it is the most well-written movie of all time. So it has good points, so people learn from the story arc of it, and it also has different elements, so it follows all the rules of the movie principle, I guess. So I think that's a little fun fact about Back to the Future. But Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. Well, Back to the Future 1 and 2 and 3 are tied up there. But as number 1, I would combine them as one. But mainly Back to the Future 1 is the best one. And then Back to the Future 2 is the second best. And then Back to the Future 3, I think, is still great. But it's the lowest of the great, if you know what I mean. And then, so I put them in chronological order, the way I rank them. So, that's why. Next, I'm going to talk about my second favorite movie of all time. And this one actually might surprise you because it's very different than Back to the Future, like the main theme or this type of movie. But it's actually John Wick 1. I've seen all 3 of the movies, and they're releasing John Wick 4. But, it's not released, or they're not planning to do it yet, but it's in the works right now. So, not Back to the Future, we already discussed that, but John Wick is my second favorite movie of all time, mainly because a lot of blockbuster Hollywood movies, whenever they have guns involved, it's very unrealistic. They can go hundreds of rounds without reloading a single magazine, and John Wick just completely removes that. Keanu Reeves did a very good job. He actually did a course of firearms training, so he's probably as good of a shooter in the movie in real life. Well, not as good. They made it with some movie magic, but still, he is a very good shooter in real life. So it holds up to the movie. And he reloads frequently. So he doesn't just use 70 bullets and then reload one. No, he reloads every 5 or 6 bullets or so because he's using 7-round magazines. Or if he shoots 12 bullets in a 13-round magazine, he's going to reload. So I think that's a very cool detail to have, just paying homage to real life. I get it if you want to make a movie like that, but John Wick really has its realism on there. And I'm going to take another drink of water real quick. Okay. I think there's only one instance in the first movie that has unrealistic magazine play, or I don't even know how you would call it, but it's a scene where John Wick is fighting a couple goons, and I think it's outside of a church, but they're fighting around cars, and he has an AR-15 with, I believe, a 30-round magazine, and he shoots like 50 bullets, or not 50, but it's like 40 or something like that. So if you're not really paying attention, or you don't really know guns that well, you're not going to notice, because he still does reload, but he goes a little over the capacity on what the magazine is. And unlike the Back to the Future movies, I would not rate all the John Wicks in order. They're up there still, maybe top 10, but in order I wouldn't go Back to the Future 1 through 3, and then John Wick 1 through 3. I couldn't put it up there because I feel like the first one is just the best. Next, I haven't really thought of a third favorite movie that I have, but it's for sure that I'm gonna find one and I'm gonna love it. Maybe, just maybe, it'll go above not Back to the Future. Nothing's ever going above Back to the Future, but it might go over John Wick, because John Wick still is debatable, but right now there's not really a movie that tops it. Also in the John Wick movie, I'm backtracking here, but people have said that the Russian in the movie is not Russian, like it sounds like it to a non-Russian speaker, but if you speak Russian, like they're just speaking gibberish, you can only understand a couple words. So that's something that they did unrealistic, but whatever. The gunplay and just the movie itself and the story makes up for it. But yeah, I still don't know what my third favorite movie is. Let me take another drink of water. Yeah, I really couldn't think of one right now on top of my head. Maybe, okay, the themes of all these movies are completely everywhere, but maybe Freedom Riders. I just saw that one recently, like 2 times, and man, it is a good movie. It's based on a true story too. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. It's really touching. I almost cried like the first time I saw it fully. It's just such a good movie. I love the stories. I love everything about the movie, really. So I'd say maybe right now that's maybe the third one. But yeah. So we had a topic today, which is nice. I had water today, which is nice. So that's definitely an improvement. But I kind of came up with the topic on the spot. Not on the spot, but like maybe 5 minutes before I recorded this. But maybe we're going to change the topic every day. Maybe we're going to keep on movies, but probably not. But I'll find a topic that we can stay on. Or maybe this podcast will just be about whatever. Or I could just go back and talk about school experiences or story times. If you guys want to send in story times. Sorry, I just got tagged in an Instagram post. But yeah, if I can find a solid topic, or maybe I come to the conclusion that this podcast is just going to be multiple topics that I'm going to talk about every day. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this episode off here. It's around 9 minutes long. But go ahead and like if you guys enjoyed this. Also, I'm going to put my Instagram again in the description of the video. It's also on the description of the podcast. If you guys want to text me or direct message me anything that you want me to talk about, or any story times, I'll go ahead and say a story time. Just give me the full script, I guess, and I'll go ahead and read those for you. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode off here, and I think that's the bell.